Hey there, welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations, and you are joining me for the month of November, 30 days of Christmas ornaments. So if you haven't caught the ones that preceded this one, go back. I've got them set up as a something, I don't know, a collection on the channel. Today, we are gonna be doing a craft. We're gonna be doing little ornaments from driftwood. So I have some random little pieces that are all kind of a nice size. The thing that's cool about the driftwood for this is that they're nice and light, right? It's not like a spindle that you've cut from a bed, which I have a mess of, but the driftwood is nice and light, so it's not going to drag down your tree. Additionally, they come in such a weird variety of shapes that every ornament that you make is going to be very individual and very unique. And I love that aspect to it. That said, I'm going to pull you in overhead. I'm going to drag out some paints and we're going to get started. To get started, I have drilled small little holes into the ends that I can put some hanging hardware on. I just take a drill. This is so soft. It's so easy. But I'm just taking like a piece of wire. This is kind of like a rounded plier. Just pulling this around, wrapping this around. This is pretty stiff wire, but I'm wrapping it around as tight as I can, releasing it, cutting that off, and then cutting this flush. I just don't want that little piece to go flying in my eye or anywhere else. And then I just take some flat pliers to just kind of turn that, straighten it out, and we're good to go. And I'm just doing this first because as I'm painting then, I get to hold on to this because the whole thing is going to be painted. And then I do have some little ornament hangers off here to the side, and it just lets me hang it somewhere in the shop to be able to dry. So to do this, nothing more complicated than I take some hot glue. So that's a lot. So I'm just taking a little bit and pushing it down into the hole and letting it dry. So that just gives me, once I get to the end of my ornament for painting, it just gives me a spot to be able to hang on to this. I love this one. This one's gonna be a nice, cute, long beard. I'm lucky enough to live close to Lake Ontario, so it's easy for me to go down to the park and pick up some odd pieces of driftwood, and they just make such great crafting items. So love that. Now, all I'm gonna do, just looking for a nice little brush. I have a tray. We're doing Santas. So I have a little bit of a flesh tone, a white, and a red. And I'm going to start by just painting in roughly where I'm going to put his face. So we're going to worry about the face last. But I'm just going to kind of roughly put in an area. I can overpaint this, so it's not an issue if it's bigger than I ultimately want. It just makes things easier to kind of get that area in there. And I like to do it kind of assembly line fashion. Let's get that in there on all of them. All right, that's that part done. Super easy. And now, just looking for another paintbrush. Here we go. I want to do the red. Now, coming down here, all this is going to be white. right? So it's going to be beard and mustache. So I want my pink to dry a little bit, but the top of it is going to be red. That's going to be his hat. And so I'm just painting all that part out. I'm leaving a little space between his face and the red of the hat because I will do that white as well, so that we've got kind of a trim for his hat. And I'm debating, I may make that three-dimensional. I'll see if I have something in my stash that would work rather than just painting it out. So I'm just going to paint the tops in the red, and the rest all gets painted in white. And then we'll come back and I'll show you how to just easily be able to finish these off. Once these little guys are dry, before I start gluing anything on, and I have some strips of little fur that I think I'll do as a textural element, I just want to put some kind of a face on there because I don't know exactly where that hat band is going to fall. So you can do this as simple as just, you know, like a little dots for eyes. I mean, whatever you want to do, right? I'm just going to give him a little bit of a nose and a mouth. I'm still going kind of simple here for the eyes. Let's make them a little tired looking. And then we're gonna, now that we know where the face part is, let's fill out a little bit of, you might be too fat. Let me try. Let's just fill out a little bit of, you know, the mustache. I'm leaving a little bit of the pink there so you can kind of get a bit of a sense of a chin. And I'll just give them little eyebrows too to kind of balance out the eyes there. I don't know if they'll show much once we get that fur band on, but just nice and simple. Once this is totally dry, I'll go in with my black marker, I think, my thin black pen, and I'll just define his mustache and stuff a little bit more, just to give it a little bit of a definition here. For our Santas, I've cut a couple of strips from some faux fur, and what I'm looking at doing is just kind of gluing it around that red and white line, just to give it a little bit of, you know, just a little bit more interest rather than just being flat painted. You could leave it just painted. This is just strictly by choice. And then we can just simply cut it off in the back. And we can kind of fluff up the fur. So it just gives a little bit of some definition. Okay, I'm gonna get it glued on the other two, and then we're gonna come back to finish these off because there's a little bit more that I wanna do. Okay, so all I'm looking at doing now, to see the difference, just a little bit more defined. I'm just taking a little sprig, putting it up in his hat, and I'm just gonna take a little black marker, outline his face a little bit, and in particular, his beard and mustache. Just give him a little bit more definition around the face. So, see the difference? It just highlights him a little bit more. And you can stop there, or you can do the same just on the rest of it. Give some definition to like the hair. I'm just kind of going in where there's the natural cracks in the wood. So it just looks almost like it's, you know, some of his face doing, I mean, some of his hair kind of forming that a bit. And here are our finished little driftwood Santas. They all have kind of a look of their own. They're all individually shaped. Ow, he's poking into me. And I think that they just look super cute hanging on a tree. Dead easy to make, takes nothing special, but just super cute. Let me know what you think of these ones, guys. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. And until then, take care.